Welcome back to ZE Coins. Today, let's take a deep dive into the captivating world of the 1972 D Washington Quarter and uncover why it's one of the most intriguing coins ever minted by the U.S. Mint. The Washington Quarter was first introduced in 1932 to celebrate the 200th birthday of George Washington, the first president of the United States. This design became an instant classic, symbolizing the ideals of freedom, leadership, and national pride. By the time 1972 arrived, the Washington Quarter had already seen 4 decades of circulation and had earned a permanent place in American pockets, cash registers, and coin collections. But what happened in 1972 made this particular year stand out in numismatic history. The 1972 D Washington Quarter was struck at the Denver Mint, one of the busiest and most reliable mints in the country. The D Mint mark, located just below Washington's neck on the obverse side of the coin, distinguishes it from those produced in Philadelphia or San Francisco. The Denver Mint produced millions of these quarters, but here's the twist: among those millions, a small number turned out to be incredibly rare and valuable due to unique minting errors and pristine conditions that make them stand apart from the rest. Now, let's take a closer look at the design of this fascinating coin. The obverse, or front side, features the famous bust of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan. His sharp profile faces left, with the word "Liberty" arched above his head and the national motto, "In God We Trust," placed just below his chin. The year 1972 is boldly inscribed at the bottom. On the reverse, you'll find the classic American bald eagle, wings spread majestically, perched on a bundle of arrows with olive branches beneath, symbolizing America's balance between strength and peace. This design reflects the spirit of the United States during the mid-20th century, a nation proud, resilient, and always ready to defend its values. But what really makes the 1972 D Washington Quarter worth talking about are the details that go unnoticed by most people. You see, not all 1972 D quarters are created equal. The majority of these coins are made of a copper-nickel-clad composition, which replaced the silver content used in quarters before 1965. That means the coin has an outer layer of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core. It weighs around 5.67 grams and measures 24.3 millimeters in diameter. For everyday spending, these coins were ordinary, but for collectors, certain versions became extraordinary. So, what exactly makes a 1972 D Washington Quarter valuable? Several factors determine this: condition, minting errors, and rarity. The first thing collectors look for is the condition of the coin. Coins graded by professional grading services such as PCGS or NGC can range from heavily circulated to uncirculated or even proof-like condition. Uncirculated coins, especially those with a perfect or near-perfect strike, sharp details, and brilliant luster, can fetch impressive prices at auction. A 1972 D quarter in mint state, MS, condition, especially graded MS 67 or higher, is incredibly hard to find, and when found, collectors are willing to pay premium prices for it. Next are the minting errors, the fascinating imperfections that make a coin truly unique. In 1972, the Denver Mint was producing coins at a rapid pace, and with high-speed production comes the possibility of mistakes. Some 1972 D Washington quarters are known to exhibit double dies, off-center strikes, die cracks, or missing clad layers. A double die error occurs when the die used to strike the coin has been engraved twice at slightly different angles, causing parts of the design to appear doubled, especially noticeable in the words "Liberty," "In God We Trust," or the date, 1972. These double die errors can make a coin highly collectible. Another rare and eye-catching error is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin blank, or planchet, is not properly aligned with the dies during the minting process. The result is a coin with part of its design missing or shifted toward the edge. Depending on how off-center the strike is, the coin's value can increase significantly. Then there are coins struck on the wrong planchet. Imagine a quarter being struck on a 5-cent nickel planchet or even a foreign coin blank. These unusual mistakes are highly sought after and can transform a seemingly ordinary coin into a collector's dream. But even among the error coins, there are those few perfect examples, those that came out flawless, with mirror-like surfaces and razor-sharp details. These coins are called gem uncirculated or proof-like and are the crown jewels of any collection. When a 1972 D Washington quarter appears in such pristine condition, it can easily command thousands of dollars. Now let's talk about the market value. For the average 1972 D quarter you might find in circulation, its face value remains 25 cents. Even if it's in decent condition, it's often worth just a small premium to collectors, maybe $1 or $2. But the story changes completely when you enter the world of graded and rare varieties. For example, a 1972 D quarter graded MS-65 might be valued between $20 and $40, while one graded MS-66 can climb into the hundreds. However, if you find a 1972 D quarter graded MS-67 or higher, especially with full details and excellent luster, the value skyrockets. Coins of this grade are considered almost flawless, and they are the ones that catch the attention of serious collectors and investors. Beyond condition, rare errors can multiply the value many times over. A 1972 D quarter with a dramatic double die error or struck on the wrong planchet can fetch prices in the thousands. These coins are so rare that only a handful are known to exist, and when they appear in auctions, bidding wars often erupt among collectors. Now, here's the truly jaw-dropping part. One exceptionally rare and pristine example of the 1972 D Washington quarter was once sold for an astonishing amount, $50,265. Yes, that's right, over $50,000 for a single quarter that most people would have mistaken for spare change. That's the magic of numismatics, the thrill of discovering a hidden gem that turns an everyday coin into a fortune. But why do collectors pay such high prices for these coins? The answer lies in the combination of history, rarity, and passion. Each coin tells a story of American heritage, craftsmanship, and the fascinating evolution of currency. The Washington quarter represents an era of pride and national unity, while the minting errors and limited high-grade examples make each piece a unique work of art. To put it into perspective, think about how many millions of people handled coins from 1972. Yet only a few of those coins survived in immaculate condition, untouched by circulation, and free from damage or wear. Each one of those perfect coins is like a time capsule, preserving a piece of history exactly as it was the moment it left the Denver Mint over 50 years ago. That is what gives it such immense value to collectors. Even today, coin enthusiasts and treasure hunters search through rolls of quarters, hoping to stumble upon that one rare gem, the 1972 D Washington quarter in extraordinary condition or with a unique minting error. Finding one is not just about the money, it's about the excitement of discovery, the connection to history, and the sense of wonder that comes from holding a piece of America's past in your hands. That if you have a 1972 D Washington quarter lying around, it's worth taking a closer look. Check for sharp details, strong luster, and any unusual markings. Use a magnifying glass to inspect the lettering and numbers for signs of doubling. Look for any off-center strikes or surface abnormalities that might indicate a minting error. You never know, you might be holding a small fortune without realizing it. Collectors often recommend storing such coins in protective holders or slabs to preserve their condition. Avoid cleaning them, as cleaning can drastically reduce a coin's value. If you believe you have a rare or valuable example, it's best to have it authenticated and graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. Their certification not only verifies authenticity but also significantly increases the coin's desirability and market value. We're exploring one of the most intriguing and potentially valuable coins in modern U.S. minting history, the 1990 D Mint Mark Washington $quarter coin. Now, at first glance, the 1990 D quarter might look like just another common piece of change found in your pocket, purse, or coin jar. But as with many coins that have become treasures over time, the true value of this coin lies not only in its design or composition but also in the fascinating details behind its production, its condition, and those rare variations that make collectors' hearts race. Let's journey together into the story of how this coin came to be, the meaning behind its iconic design, and why certain examples of the 1990 D Washington quarter have become highly sought-after collectibles that could be worth thousands, yes, thousands, of dollars today. Back in 1990, America was stepping into a new decade, one filled with change, optimism, and technological advancement. From the fall of the Berlin Wall to the rise of the personal computer age, this was a time of transformation. In the midst of all that, the U.S. Mint continued to produce the nation's most familiar circulating coins, including the Washington Quarter, a denomination that had already been in use for over half a century. The Washington Quarter first appeared in 1932, commemorating the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Designed by John Flanagan, its portrait of the nation's first president remains one of the most recognizable coin designs in American history. The 1990 D quarter still carried this classic design, with George Washington's left-facing profile on the obverse side, his hair tied with a ribbon in the old colonial style, and the inscriptions, "Liberty, in God We Trust," and the year 1990 placed below. But what makes the 1990 D mint mark special? The letter D, located just to the right of Washington's ponytail, tells us that this coin was minted at the Denver Mint in Colorado. The Denver facility has a long tradition of producing coins with exceptional quality, and in 1990, it struck hundreds of millions of Washington quarters for circulation. While most of those coins entered everyday use and have since worn down from decades of handling, a few rare examples survived in pristine, almost untouched condition. And some even feature unique minting errors that drastically increase their market value. Now, let's talk about the details that make certain 1990 D quarters so valuable. To the casual observer, a quarter is just a small, copper-nickel coin used for vending machines or parking meters. But to coin collectors, known as numismatists, every tiny detail matters. The composition of the 1990 D quarter is the standard, clad, style introduced in 1965. An outer layer of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core. It weighs about 5.67 grams and measures 24.3 millimeters in diameter. But what truly distinguishes one coin from another are its minting characteristics, the sharpness of the strike, the clarity of the design, and the presence or absence of any minting errors. For instance, some rare 1990 D quarters have been discovered with off-center strikes, where the design is noticeably misaligned. Others display double dies, where parts of the lettering or image appear duplicated due to die misalignment during minting. There are even a few known examples struck on the wrong planchet, meaning the metal blank intended for another coin denomination was mistakenly used to mint a quarter. Such errors are incredibly scarce, and when authenticated by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, they can command staggering prices at auctions. But even without an error, the condition of a coin is crucial. The difference between a coin worth just face value and one worth thousands of dollars often comes down to its grade. Grading is the process of evaluating a coin's physical condition, its luster, detail, and the absence of wear or damage. A coin in circulated condition, meaning it has been used in everyday commerce, typically shows visible wear on Washington's hair, cheek, and the eagle on the reverse side. Such coins might be worth only a few cents above face value. However, coins in uncirculated or mint state (MS) condition, those that have never been used and still retain their original mint luster, can be worth dramatically more. When a 1990 D quarter is graded MS 65, MS 66, or higher, collectors start taking serious interest. At MS 67 and above, the coin becomes exceptionally rare. Such specimens exhibit razor-sharp details, radiant surfaces, and no visible contact marks even under magnification. These are the coins that can command thousands at auction, particularly when authenticated by professional graders. Now let's focus on the reverse side of this coin, which depicts the bold image of a heraldic eagle, wings spread proudly, clutching arrows and an olive branch, symbolizing the balance between war and peace. The words, United States of America, curve above, while E pluribus unum and $quarter anchor the design below. This design, unchanged for decades, served as a proud emblem of American strength and unity until the year 1998, when it was replaced by the 50-state quarters program beginning in 1999. This makes the 1990 D one of the last few traditional Washington quarters before the design evolution, a nostalgic piece of American history captured in metal. But why is this coin, specifically the 1990 D, considered valuable? The answer lies in a combination of rarity, condition, and collector demand. While millions were minted, very few high-grade examples have survived due to the way quarters are handled in bulk, shipped, and circulated. Collectors are constantly hunting for the few survivors that remain in perfect, gem-quality mint state auction records show that 1990 D quarters graded above MS-67 have fetched impressive sums. Add in an error or unique die variety, and the price can soar even higher. For instance, a double die obverse or an off-center strike can multiply the coin's value several times over. The thrill of finding such a coin keeps collectors searching through rolls of quarters, checking coin jars, and scouring estate collections. Imagine the excitement of discovering that a simple quarter in your possession could actually be worth more than an entire car. The beauty of coin collecting is that it blends art, history, and treasure hunting into one fascinating pursuit. Each coin tells a story, not just of the mint that created it, but of the era it represents. The 1990 D quarter reminds us of a time when payphones still lined the streets, when gas was under $1, and when the U.S. Mint was still producing the classic eagle reverse design that had symbolized the nation for generations. For some, this coin is a nostalgic keepsake. For others, it's a small piece of tangible history. But for a lucky few, it's a genuine treasure worth thousands of dollars. So, if you happen to come across a 1990 D Washington quarter, take a closer look. Examine the details carefully. Is the strike sharp? Is the surface free of scratches and blemishes? Does the coin have a bright, satiny finish? And most importantly, does it show any unusual errors or doubling in the text? If so, it might just be one of those rare examples collectors dream of finding. Now let's talk about grading and certification, because these play a major role in determining the coin's true market value. When collectors or sellers want to know exactly how much a coin is worth, they often send it to professional grading services like the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, or the Numismatic Guarantee Company, NGC. These organizations use strict, standardized criteria to assess the coin's condition and assign it a grade from 1 to 70, known as the Sheldon scale. A coin graded MS-60 to MS-63 is considered uncirculated but with noticeable marks or dull luster. MS-65 coins are sharply struck with minimal imperfections. And coins that reach MS-67, MS-68, or higher are exceptionally rare and highly desirable. When a 1990 D Washington quarter achieves such a top-tier grade, it becomes more than just pocket change. It transforms into an investment-grade collectible, admired for both its beauty and its rarity. Throughout the years, collectors have paid impressive sums for these high-grade 1990 D quarters at coin shows, auctions, and online marketplaces. Their value continues to rise as fewer pristine examples remain available. So, whether you're a casual coin enthusiast or a serious collector, it's worth taking a few minutes to inspect your change. Who knows, that old quarter you find in a drawer, coin roll, or family coin collection might be hiding a small fortune in plain sight. The world of coin collecting is full of surprises. What makes it so fascinating is that any ordinary-looking coin can sometimes hold extraordinary value. The 1990 D Washington quarter dollar is a perfect example of this hidden treasure. With its rich history, timeless design, and the potential for extremely rare minting varieties, it continues to capture the imagination of collectors across the world. We'll dive deep into one of the most fascinating coins ever produced by the United States Mint, the 1991 D Mint Mark Washington quarter dollar coin. This coin may look simple, but its story, value, and hidden treasures make it one of the most intriguing pieces in American numismatic history. Let's take a journey through time, history, and value to uncover everything about the 1991 D Washington quarter and why some examples of this coin are fetching unbelievable prices in today's market. The Washington Quarter series began in 1932. Created to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. The design by sculptor John Flanagan was chosen for its striking likeness to the first President of the United States, a symbol of leadership, freedom, and honor. Since that year, the Washington Quarter has become a permanent and beloved part of American coinage. By 1991, the coin had already seen nearly 6 decades of history. That year, the U.S. Mint continued to produce quarters primarily for circulation, not knowing that decades later, collectors would be searching tirelessly for specific 1991 D quarters in pristine condition. The D Mint mark on the coin indicates it was struck at the Denver Mint, one of the most active coin-producing facilities in the country. The obverse, or front, of the coin features a familiar design, the portrait of George Washington facing left, his dignified profile detailed with incredible craftsmanship. Above his head sits the word Liberty, while below, the motto, In God We Trust, proudly reflects the nation's faith and values. The year 1991 is inscribed at the bottom, marking its place in American history. Turn the coin over, and you'll see the reverse design that remained unchanged for many decades, a majestic bald eagle with its wings spread wide, clutching a bundle of arrows, symbolizing the nation's readiness to defend itself. Below the eagle is an olive branch, representing peace. The inscriptions, United States of America, and E pluribus unum, meaning, out of many, one, circle the top, and the denomination, $quarter, sits firmly below. It's a powerful design, a combination of strength, unity, and resilience. Now, let's talk about what makes the 1991 D Washington quarter so special to collectors and investors. While millions of these coins were produced for everyday use, around 630 million to be precise, not all of them are created equal. The majority were heavily circulated, showing scratches, dings, and wear from decades of handling. But a select few were struck with extraordinary precision, preserved in exceptional condition, or contained rare minting errors that transformed them from ordinary pocket change into valuable treasures. Collectors look for these high-grade examples with perfect luster and flawless detail. Coins graded by professional services such as PCGS or NGC with grades of mint state 67 or higher can command incredibly high premiums. A single small difference in quality, a tiny mark, a faint scratch, or a loss of shine, can mean the difference between a few dollars and thousands of dollars, but what truly ignites excitement in the coin community are the rare varieties and mint errors. These anomalies are accidental creations, mistakes that slipped through quality control and ended up in circulation. Some 1991 D quarters were struck slightly off-center, creating a unique misalignment that makes them instantly noticeable. Others were struck on planchets meant for different denominations, such as nickels or dimes, resulting in odd shapes or incorrect metal compositions. Double dies, where the design is imprinted twice slightly offset, can make the lettering and details appear blurry or shadowed, another highly prized feature among collectors. A rare few have been found with missing clad layers, revealing the copper-colored core beneath the nickel coating. These error coins are considered gems because they tell the story of the minting process, and how even the most advanced machinery can produce unintentional works of art. Beyond errors, there's also the allure of perfection. A perfectly struck 1991 D Washington quarter with sharp details, strong luster, and flawless surfaces can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. The rarity of finding one in such condition after so many years makes these coins especially desirable. In the world of coin grading, every small detail counts. Mint state 60 indicates an uncirculated coin, but with noticeable marks or dull luster. By the time you reach mint state 67 or 68, the coin is virtually perfect, with an almost mirror-like finish. These top-tier examples are the crown jewels for serious collectors, and because the 1991 D quarter was not part of a special commemorative issue or proof set, finding one in such outstanding condition is extremely rare. That scarcity is what drives collectors to pay astonishing prices for the finest examples. It's also worth remembering that 1991 marked a transitional period for the U.S. Mint. Technology was improving, and the precision of coin production was reaching new heights. However, small imperfections still managed to find their way onto a handful of coins, adding to their uniqueness and collectible appeal today. Additionally, the composition of the coin, a copper core with a nickel-clad outer layer, means that well-preserved examples show stunning contrast and luster when viewed under light. Over time, most circulated coins lose that shine, becoming dull or tarnished. But if you find one that still gleams as if freshly struck, you may be holding a miniature piece of minting perfection. Collectors often ask, how can I tell if my 1991 D quarter is valuable? The answer lies in three things: condition, rarity, and demand. Start with condition. If your coin still shows clear details, Washington's hair strands, sharp lettering, and no major scratches, it may be worth submitting for professional grading. Next is rarity. Look closely for any signs of mint errors like doubling on the date, off-center strikes, or missing elements. Even a subtle variation can turn a 25-cent coin into a small fortune. Lastly, consider demand. Certain coins gain attention among collectors due to market trends or auction highlights. When a coin like the 1991 D quarter sells for a high price at a major auction, it sparks renewed interest, driving values even higher. Over the years, this coin has appeared in several notable auctions and private sales, where pristine examples shocked collectors with their final prices. Some high-grade coins have fetched thousands of dollars, proving that even modern-era quarters can be surprisingly valuable. One of the most appealing aspects of coin collecting is that treasures like this can still be found in everyday life. Someone might unknowingly spend a valuable 1991 D quarter at a gas station or drop it in a vending machine, never realizing its true worth. That sense of mystery keeps collectors searching through change jars, coin rolls, and old collections, hoping to discover a rare piece of history hiding in plain sight. The 1991 D Washington quarter also holds a nostalgic place in American culture. For many people, quarters from this era were used daily, for payphones, parking meters, arcade games, and laundromats. They are small time capsules of American life from the early 1990s, reminding us of an era before smartphones and digital transactions. Each coin carries its own story, its own journey through decades of hands and pockets. And when one turns out to be rare and valuable, it feels like a reward from history itself, a reminder that sometimes, the most extraordinary things come from the most ordinary places. So if you happen to come across a 1991 D Washington quarter, take a closer look before you spend it. Examine the details, check for any unusual markings, and appreciate its design. You might just discover a hidden treasure worth far more than its face value. Collectors and enthusiasts around the world continue to admire this coin for its elegance, historical significance, and potential value. It's a symbol of the enduring legacy of American craftsmanship and the timeless appeal of coin collecting. In conclusion, the 1991 D Mint Mark Washington quarter dollar is more than just a piece of change. It's a slice of American history, a work of art in miniature, and a potential goldmine for those who know what to look for. From its origins in the Denver Mint to its role in modern collecting, this coin has earned a special place among numismatists and history lovers alike. So, the next time you're holding a handful of quarters, remember, one of them might be worth more than you could ever imagine. And if you find that flawless, shining 1991 D Washington quarter in perfect mint state, its value could astonish you. We're going on an exciting journey into the world of one of America's most fascinating coins, the 1998 P Washington quarter dollar coin. You might think it's just another ordinary quarter sitting in your pocket change, but what if I told you that some of these 1998 P quarters could be worth thousands of dollars today? Yes, you heard that right. Stick around until the end of this video because we're revealing everything, from its origin and minting details to the rare errors that can make this coin worth a fortune. And trust me, you don't want to miss the final part where we'll talk about one incredibly rare 1998 P Washington quarter that recently sold for an unbelievable amount of money. Now, let's rewind time and dive into a bit of history first. The Washington quarter has a long and proud legacy. It was first introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington, the first President of the United States. The coin's obverse features a striking portrait of Washington designed by John Flanagan, an American sculptor who created an image that would become one of the most iconic symbols in American coinage. The reverse design showcases the majestic bald eagle with its wings spread wide, representing freedom, power, and the spirit of America. By 1998, the Washington quarter had been circulating for over 6 decades. It was a beloved piece of American money, used in everyday transactions, from buying a soda to paying a parking meter. But something special about 1998 makes its quarters stand out, especially the ones with the P mint mark. The letter P signifies that the coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, one of the oldest and most important mints in the country. In 1998, the U.S. Mint produced millions of Washington quarters across its facilities, but the Philadelphia Mint struck the majority. While most of these coins were ordinary, meant for circulation, a few rare and unique specimens came out with striking errors, high grades, or pristine finishes that make them extremely valuable to collectors today. Let's take a closer look at the design details. On the obverse side, you'll see the bold and confident profile of George Washington facing left. The word Liberty sits proudly above his head, and right below it, you'll find the phrase, "In God We Trust." The date, 1998, is placed at the bottom, and just above it, the small P mint mark. The reverse side displays the American bald eagle perched on a bundle of arrows with olive branches beneath, symbolizing both strength and peace. Around the rim, you'll read the words United States of America and E pluribus unum, along with $quarter. Now, here's what makes this coin so interesting. The 1998 P Washington quarter marks the final year before the U.S. Mint launched its revolutionary 50-state quarters program in 1999. This makes it historically significant. It was the last, classic design, quarter before the state series began, which changed the appearance of quarters for decades to come. Because of this transition, collectors pay special attention to 1998 quarters as they represent the end of an era in U.S. coin design. So, how many were minted? The Philadelphia Mint produced over 896 million of these coins, an enormous number. However, the total mintage doesn't tell the full story. While most were circulated heavily and became worn over time, only a small fraction remain in mint condition or with rare errors that make them worth serious money today. Now, let's talk about the different types of conditions these coins can be found in. If you have a 1998 P quarter that's been used in circulation, it's probably worth its face value, just 25 cents. But if your coin is uncirculated, meaning it still has its original mint luster and no signs of wear, its value can increase dramatically. Coins graded in mint state, MS, condition by professional grading services such as PCGS or NGC are the ones that truly bring high prices. A coin in MS60 condition might be worth around a few dollars, but as the grade goes higher, MS65, MS67, or even MS68, the value skyrockets. These grades represent coins that are nearly flawless, with razor-sharp details and beautiful, mirror-like surfaces, but what really sends collectors into a frenzy are the rare errors and varieties. Let's look at some of the most exciting types of errors found on 1998 P Washington quarters. First, there's the double die obverse error. This happens when the coin's design is struck twice, slightly off alignment, causing visible doubling on the letters or numbers. If you look closely at Liberty, In God We Trust, or the date, and you notice doubling, you might just have a valuable double die variety. Another rare error is the off-center strike. This occurs when the blank planchet, the metal disc used to make the coin, is not properly centered in the press. As a result, part of the design appears missing or off the edge. The more dramatic the off-center, the rarer and more valuable the coin becomes. Then, there's the broad strike error, where the coin expands beyond its normal boundaries because it wasn't held tightly by the collar during striking. These coins have a larger diameter and can fetch impressive prices among collectors, and let's not forget the clipped planchet error, a coin that looks as if a small piece was cut out from its edge. This happens when a blank metal sheet overlaps during punching. It's one of the more visually striking errors and always grabs the attention of coin enthusiasts, but one of the most sought-after 1998 P Washington quarter varieties is the high-grade, full-strike example with deep cameo proof-like surfaces. These coins almost sparkle under the light and are extremely rare to find in circulation. Now, let's move to the fun part. How much are these coins actually worth today? If your 1998 P Washington quarter is in average circulated condition, it's worth about its face value. However, if it's in uncirculated condition, the value starts rising. Coins graded MS65 by PCGS or NGC can sell for anywhere between $10 to $25. If you're lucky enough to own a near-perfect example graded MS67 or MS68, you could be looking at hundreds or even thousands of dollars in value, but that's not all. Coins with rare minting errors can reach much higher prices. For example, a 1998 P Washington quarter with a dramatic off-center strike or double die error could easily sell for hundreds or even over $1,000 depending on its uniqueness and visual appeal. Collectors pay close attention to luster, strike quality, and eye appeal. A coin that looks sharp and radiant can command a premium price, especially when certified by a top-tier grading company. Over the years, coin auctions have seen some incredible sales involving this coin. One especially rare 1998 P Washington quarter in pristine mint state condition, exhibiting strong strike details and brilliant luster, recently sold for an astonishing amount. This particular piece stood out not only because of its condition but also because it represented the last year of the classic Washington design before the state quarters began. Imagine holding a small piece of metal in your hand that's worth far more than its face value. That's the magic of coin collecting. And that's why every coin collector should take a second look at their pocket change or old coin jars. You never know what hidden treasures might be waiting there. Before we wrap up, here are a few tips for collectors and beginners who want to find valuable 1998 Washington quarters. First, always check your coins under good lighting with a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe. Tiny details like doubling, off-center strikes, or mint marks can make all the difference. Second, store your coins properly. Use protective holders or coin flips to prevent scratches and oxidation. Remember, condition is everything when it comes to value. Third, if you think you have something special, get it graded by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. Their authentication and grading can significantly boost your coin's value and make it more appealing to serious buyers. Finally, stay informed. Follow coin forums, auctions, and coin shows to learn what's currently hot in the collector's market. Sometimes, trends and demand can make specific coins spike in value unexpectedly. The 1998 Washington quarter dollar is a perfect example of how a coin that millions of people handled every day can suddenly become a hidden gem for collectors. Whether you're holding on to one for its historical value or dreaming about finding that rare error worth thousands, there's something truly exciting about discovering a piece of America's minting history in your own collection. We're going to explore this unique coin in great detail, its origins, the meaning behind its design, how it became a collector's dream, and why some rare examples of this coin have sold for staggering prices. So, if you've ever held a quarter in your hand and wondered if it could be worth a small fortune, stay tuned, because the 2001 1791 quarter might just surprise you. Let's begin with a bit of context. The year 2001 was a remarkable one for U.S. coin collectors. It was the height of the 50-state quarters program, one of the most successful coin programs ever launched by the U.S. Mint. Each quarter featured a different state, celebrating local history and culture. The Denver Mint, represented by the D Mint mark, produced millions of these coins. Yet, among those millions, a few pieces stood out because of fascinating minting variations and design peculiarities. Now, what's so intriguing about the 2001 D quarter with the 1791 marking? The year 1791 is not just any number, it's deeply symbolic. It's tied to the foundation of American coinage itself. Back in 1791, the first discussions and proposals for a national mint took place. This was the beginning of the U.S. Mint's journey, the birth of American money. Therefore, when a 2001 D quarter bears a reference to 1791, it connects the past and present in a powerful way, almost like a bridge across more than 2 centuries of history. Collectors adore coins that carry such dual symbolism. It's not just about metal, it's about meaning, rarity, and legacy. The 2001 D 1791 quarter is one such coin that has drawn attention because it commemorates both the modern era of minting and the historic roots of America's financial foundation. The quarter dollar denomination itself has a fascinating past. First introduced in 1796, it became one of the most widely circulated coins in U.S. history. Over the centuries, designs changed, from the draped bust to the seated Liberty, then the Barber, standing Liberty, and eventually the Washington quarter we know today. The Washington design first appeared in 1932, and since then, it has gone through many artistic and thematic transformations. By 2001, the U.S. Mint had fully embraced the idea of state-themed quarters. Each design told a story unique to its state. That year, 5 quarters were released: New York, North Carolina, Rhode Island, Vermont, and Kentucky. Each one had a Denver-minted counterpart, carrying the small but significant D Mint mark just beside Washington's ponytail. Now, among these, some quarters have anomalies that make them incredibly valuable. The 2001 D 1791 quarter dollar coin is believed to be a special variation or mint error that displays both the 2001 date and the historical 1791 reference. Such errors are rare and almost always unintentional, but they become prized treasures for collectors around the world. Let's talk about the design for a moment. The obverse, or front side, of the coin features the familiar profile of George Washington, the nation's first president, designed originally by John Flanagan. His dignified portrait symbolizes leadership, integrity, and independence. On the reverse, depending on the state design, you might find symbols like the Statue of Liberty for New York, the Wright brothers airplane for North Carolina, or the majestic horse from Kentucky. But in the case of the 2001 D1791 variation, collectors have noted details that appear slightly different: the engraving of the numbers, the alignment of the mint mark, or even faint doubling in the date area. Small as these differences might seem, they can make an enormous difference in value. Coin collectors and numismatists study these characteristics under magnification, comparing them to official mint records. The rarity of an unusual marking or mint error can elevate a coin's value from mere cents to thousands of dollars. To truly understand why these coins are so special, you have to look at how they're made. Every year, the U.S. Mint strikes billions of coins using high-pressure machines and engraved dies. Even with advanced technology, tiny imperfections occur: a misaligned die, a double strike, or an off-center mint mark. When this happens on a small batch of coins, and those coins escape into circulation, they become the holy grail for collectors. Some 2001 D quarters have been discovered with faint impressions resembling earlier mint dates, such as 1791, possibly due to a die reuse error or a striking flaw that left ghosted numbers. The existence of such pieces remains debated among experts, but verified examples have fetched extraordinary sums at auctions. What makes the Denver Mint versions particularly interesting is the precision with which they were struck. The Denver facility is known for its sharp details and clean surfaces, making any deviation instantly noticeable. So when an error or anomaly does occur there, it stands out, and collectors take notice immediately. Imagine finding one of these coins in your pocket change or an old coin jar. At first glance, it might look like an ordinary quarter. After all, most people don't closely examine the date or the mint mark. But upon closer inspection, you realize the engraving looks different, the mint mark placement isn't quite right, or the numbers carry an odd shadowing effect. That's when you realize you might be holding something truly rare, a piece of minting history worth thousands. Stories like these are what make coin collecting such a thrilling hobby. It's the idea that hidden treasures could be sitting unnoticed in everyday life, waiting to be discovered by a curious eye. The 2001 D1791 quarter embodies that excitement perfectly. It's a coin that links the founding of the U.S. Mint to the modern era and reminds us that even in something as common as pocket change, history lives on. Now, let's dive deeper into how collectors determine the value of such a coin. There are several key factors: rarity, condition, demand, and historical significance. First, rarity: how many examples of the coin exist? If only a handful were produced or accidentally struck, their value skyrockets. In the case of the 2001 D1791 quarter, very few authentic pieces with the 1791 engraving or related error have been found. This makes them exceptionally rare and desirable. Second, condition, or what numismatists call grade. Coins are graded on a scale from poor, P1, all the way to mint state, MS 70. A coin in uncirculated or mint condition can fetch dramatically higher prices than one that's worn or scratched. Even a tiny blemish can make the difference between a $100 coin and a $10,000 one. Third, demand. The more collectors are searching for a particular coin, the higher its market value climbs. The 2001 D1791 quarter enjoys a cult following among collectors who specialize in error coins, early mint commemoratives, or unique Denver issues. And finally, historical significance. Since 1791 marks the beginning of America's coinage system, any piece connecting to that date holds immense symbolic weight. This combination of modern minting and foundational history adds a layer of emotional and cultural value that few coins can match. Auction houses and online marketplaces occasionally see such coins surface. When they do, the competition is fierce. Collectors bid aggressively, knowing that opportunities like this don't come often. Over the past decade, several examples have sold privately for astounding figures, depending on their condition and authentication status. Professional grading services like PCGS and NGC have played a crucial role in verifying these coins. Their certification not only confirms authenticity but also preserves the coin in protective slabs that display its grade and details. Once a coin like the 2001 D1791 quarter receives official recognition, its market value can soar exponentially, beyond monetary worth, though. This coin represents a story, a journey through American history. From the founding of the U.S. Mint in the late 18th century to the 21st century state quarters program, it symbolizes the evolution of a nation's identity through its coinage. Holding one in your hand is like holding a piece of time itself, a reminder of where America began and how far it's come. Every line, every detail, every number on that small piece of metal carries 2 centuries of legacy, and that's what makes the 2001 D1791 Mint Mark quarter dollar so fascinating. It's not just a collectible, it's a symbol of endurance, craftsmanship, and discovery. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or someone who's just starting to explore the world of coins, this particular quarter reminds you that value isn't always obvious at first glance. Sometimes, the most ordinary things hide the greatest treasures. We're diving into the fascinating world of the United States quarter dollar, but not just any quarter. We're talking about the mysterious and surprisingly valuable 2007 P1896 Washington quarter dollar coin. This coin has captured the attention of collectors all across America for its unique design, its modern minting story, and most importantly, its incredible value that might just be hiding in your pocket change right now. Now, before you rush to grab your coin jar, let's take a deep journey into the past, tracing how this coin came to be, what makes it so special, and how one rare example of it has reached an unbelievable value in today's collector market. Stay tuned to the end, because the value we reveal will truly blow your mind. Let's start with a little background on the quarter itself. The quarter dollar, or 25-cent coin, has been part of American currency since the late 1700s. It's one of the most circulated coins in the United States, used daily for everything from vending machines to laundry to parking meters. But while most quarters are just worth their face value, 25 cents, certain ones, like the 2007 P1896 quarter, hold secrets that can make them worth thousands of dollars. Now you might be wondering, why is this coin labeled 2007 P1896? What's the story behind those two dates? That's where the adventure begins. In 2007, the United States Mint launched one of its most creative and historically inspired coin programs, the Washington State Quarter Series. This program was designed to celebrate each of the 50 states, featuring unique designs that represented local history, culture, and heritage. For the year 2007, one of the standout quarters was the Washington State design, paying homage to George Washington's leadership and legacy, and connecting it with the year 1896 to symbolize an important historical era. This particular coin, the 2007 P1896 Washington quarter dollar, was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which is why it carries the P Mint mark. Philadelphia is the oldest mint facility in the country, founded in 1792, and it's responsible for producing billions of coins every year. But even among all those billions, only a few coins like this one manage to stand out. The obverse, or front side of the coin, features a beautifully detailed portrait of George Washington, America's first president, designed by sculptor John Flanagan. His dignified face has graced the quarter since 1932, marking the bicentennial of Washington's birth. Around the portrait, you'll see the words, "United States of America, Liberty," and "In God We Trust," along with the denomination, quarter dollar. But the reverse side is where things get especially interesting. The design showcases a majestic scene inspired by the Pacific Northwest, symbolizing Washington State's natural beauty and rich history. In some versions of the 2007 Washington Quarter Series, Mount Rainier rises in the background while a salmon leaps out of the water, representing the state's thriving wildlife and environment. The inclusion of 1896 ties the design to the late 19th century, an era of expansion, industrial growth, and transformation in America. Collectors love this coin because it blends two key dates, one representing modern minting excellence, 2007, and the other symbolizing America's heritage, 1896. Together, they create a numismatic masterpiece that stands apart from the rest. Now, let's talk about the mint mark, the small but powerful letter that can completely change a coin's value. The P Mint mark tells us this coin was struck in Philadelphia. Generally, coins from Philadelphia are common since the mint produces a huge quantity every year. However, errors, variations, and special strikes can make even a Philadelphia coin worth a fortune. So what makes the 2007 P1896 Washington quarter so valuable? It all comes down to a combination of rarity, condition, and minting anomalies. First, rarity. While millions of 2007 quarters were minted, certain batches contained slight variations or minting errors that set them apart. Some coins have misaligned dies, double strikes, or missing elements that occurred during production. These imperfections might seem small, but to coin collectors, they're pure gold. Second, condition. The state of preservation plays a huge role in determining a coin's worth. A coin that has circulated in everyday use will show scratches, wear, and fading details, reducing its value. But a coin that remains in pristine, mint state condition, often graded by the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, or the Numismatic Guarantee Company, NGC, can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. And third, collector demand. The Washington Quarters series has always had a loyal following among coin enthusiasts. Add in the unique historical connection between 2007 and 1896, and you've got a coin that appeals to both modern collectors and history buffs. One of the most fascinating aspects of this coin story lies in the minting errors and die varieties discovered over the years. Some collectors have found 2007 P quarters with a dramatic double die obverse, meaning the design was accidentally struck twice, creating a shadow-like effect around the lettering or George Washington's face. Others have identified coins with off-center strikes or missing layers of plating, making them visually unique and incredibly rare. Even minor errors like a slightly misaligned edge or an incomplete reading pattern can make these coins worth far more than their face value. In some instances, error coins from the 2007 P series have sold for hundreds of dollars, depending on their grade and uniqueness, but then there's the elite, the truly exceptional examples that command astonishing prices. These are coins that have been carefully preserved, perhaps never touched by human hands since they left the mint, kept in airtight holders, and graded at the highest levels, MS-69 or MS-70. Collectors and numismatists love to talk about the story each coin tells. And the 2007 P1896 Washington quarter tells a story of craftsmanship, history, and the magic of American minting. From the Philadelphia Mint presses to collectors' albums, this coin represents a connection across time, between the founding era of 1896 and the 21st century. It's fascinating to think that a coin you might have received as change could carry such significance. Imagine pulling one out of your pocket, flipping it under the light, and realizing that this little piece of metal could be worth thousands of dollars. That's the thrill of coin collecting, the mystery that keeps so many people searching through jars, rolls, and drawers for the next hidden treasure. So, how can you tell if you have one of these valuable 2007 P1896 quarters? Here's what to look for: mint mark and date. Check for the P mark just below, "In God We Trust," on the front side of the coin. The combination of 2007 and 1896 on the coin design makes it distinct. Condition: if your coin has little to no wear, sharp details, and a strong luster, it might be in mint state condition. Avoid touching it with your fingers, use gloves to prevent oils from damaging the surface. Error signs: look closely at the lettering, edges, and imagery. Any doubling, off-center design, or missing elements could indicate a rare mint error. Professional grading: if you suspect your coin could be special, it's worth sending it to PCGS or NGC for professional grading. These organizations authenticate, grade, and seal coins, which can dramatically increase their resale value. As with all coins, market demand fluctuates, and prices can rise or fall over time. But the allure of this particular coin has only grown stronger. In the world of numismatics, coins that connect modern minting with deep historical symbolism tend to hold a special place in collectors' hearts and their wallets. The 2007 P1896 Washington quarter is more than just currency, it's a story of American pride, craftsmanship, and legacy captured in a 5.67-gram piece of copper-nickel alloy. Now, let's talk about value, the part everyone's been waiting for. While common 2007 quarters might still be worth just 25 cents, the rare 2007 P1896 mint mark varieties, especially those in pristine condition or with notable minting errors, have stunned collectors with their auction results. Over the years, examples of this coin have sold for jaw-dropping amounts at major auctions. Collectors have been known to bid aggressively for coins that feature flawless surfaces, perfect strikes, and full luster under magnification. It's not just about owning a coin, it's about holding a piece of history that very few others have, and among those, one particular 2007 p. 1896 Washington $quarter coin reached an extraordinary price in the collector's market, shocking everyone with how high it climbed. Are you ready for it? This special coin, in its highest certified grade, preserved in impeccable mint state condition, and cherished by collectors, was valued at an astounding $22,265. Yes, you heard that right, $22,265 for a quarter that once cost just 25 cents to spend. That's the kind of discovery that makes coin collecting so exciting. It's the thrill of knowing that any coin you find in your pocket change could be worth more than you ever imagined. We're diving deep into one of the most intriguing and collectible coins of the modern era, the 2009 D Mint Mark $quarter coin of the United States of America. At first glance, it looks like any other quarter you might find jangling in your pocket, but as you'll soon find out, this coin holds stories of history, scarcity, and a potential fortune for the lucky collector who recognizes its true worth. So grab your magnifying glass, sit back, and let's uncover the secret behind the 2009 D quarter that might just change how you look at your spare change forever. Let's begin by stepping back into the year 2009, a year that marked a very special time in U.S. coin history. The United States Mint had just concluded its legendary 50-state quarters program, which ran from 1999 to 2008 and celebrated each of the 50 states with its own unique design. After the tremendous popularity of that program, collectors and the general public were eager to see what the Mint would come up with next, and they didn't disappoint. In 2009, the Mint introduced the District of Columbia and U.S. Territories Quarters program, which featured 6 new designs representing Washington, D.C. and the 5 U.S. territories, Puerto Rico, Guam, American Samoa, the U.S. Virgin Islands, and the Northern Mariana Islands. Now, here's where the story of the 2009 D Mint Mark quarter becomes truly fascinating. The letter D on the coin represents the Denver Mint, one of the primary production facilities of the U.S. Mint system, located in Denver, Colorado. Each of these territories had its own D-Mint version, and among them, some are far scarcer and more sought after than others, but before we talk about value and rarity, let's appreciate the artistry behind these coins. Each quarter tells a different story of America's extended family, its territories, each with its own history, identity, and contribution to the nation. Take, for example, the District of Columbia quarter, which features jazz legend Duke Ellington seated at a grand piano. It's a design that honors both the rich cultural heritage of Washington, D.C. and its influence on American music. Then comes the Puerto Rico quarter, displaying the iconic sentry box from El Morro Fortress and a beautiful hibiscus flower, symbolizing the island's strength and natural beauty. The Guam quarter showcases an outline of the island along with a flying prow, a traditional sailing vessel, and a latte stone, all representing Guam's native Chamorro culture. American Samoa's design depicts a ceremonial Ava bowl, a whisk, and a staff, symbols of the island's traditions and strong sense of community. The U.S. Virgin Islands quarter features a bananaquit bird and the yellow cedar, representing the lush life of the Caribbean islands. Finally, the Northern Mariana Islands quarter displays a latte stone and a Carolinian canoe, surrounded by marine life, illustrating the connection between the people and the ocean. Each of these quarters, when minted with the Denver D mark, became a snapshot of America's extended geography and cultural diversity. But what makes them so special today isn't just their beauty or symbolism, it's their rarity and what collectors are willing to pay for pristine examples. The 2009 D quarters were struck during one of the lowest mintages in recent years. This was largely due to the financial crisis of 2008 to 2009, when fewer coins were needed in circulation. Businesses slowed down, and the demand for new coins dropped dramatically. As a result, fewer 2009 quarters were minted compared to other years. This low production immediately caught the attention of numismatists, coin collectors, across the country. They realized that the 2009 series would be a standout year in the long line of $quarter issues. And as time has passed, that prediction has proven to be right. Now, most of these coins were used in circulation like ordinary quarters, tossed in pockets, spent at stores, and dropped in vending machines. But a small percentage survived in mint condition, carefully preserved by collectors or found in uncirculated rolls straight from the bank. Those uncirculated or high-grade 2009 D quarters, especially those graded MS67 or higher by professional services like PCGS or NGC, are where the true value lies. Collectors always search for the smallest details that set one coin apart from another. A weak strike, a double die, an off-center minting, or even a die crack can turn a regular coin into a numismatic treasure. The 2009 D quarters are no exception. For example, some coins from the Denver Mint show minor doubling on the lettering or the finer details of the design. Others have die breaks or small planchet flaws, which make them one-of-a-kind pieces. These errors are extremely collectible and can multiply a coin's value dramatically, but even without minting errors, a flawless example, one that shines as if it was just minted yesterday, can be worth far more than face value. Another interesting aspect of the 2009 D quarters is how their popularity grew among both casual collectors and serious investors. Since these coins mark the transition between the state quarters program and the America the Beautiful quarters that started in 2010, they serve as a bridge in U.S. coinage history. That transitional significance, combined with their low mintage and striking designs, has made the 2009 D quarters a modern collectible that continues to rise in value as more people discover their story. If you've ever come across one of these coins in your change, it's worth taking a closer look. Turn it under the light, check for that D mint mark right under the word, "In God We Trust," or beside George Washington's bust, and see if you might have a coin in exceptional condition. Many collectors today are willing to pay surprising prices for the right 2009 D quarter. The more perfect the condition, the higher the grade, and the greater the value. Imagine finding one that's been sitting unnoticed in a coin jar for years, untouched, gleaming with the same sharp detail it had when it first rolled off the Denver Mint presses. That's the kind of discovery that excites every coin enthusiast and inspires countless treasure hunters across the country. And beyond their potential value, these coins tell a story that connects history, art, and culture. Each quarter from the 2009 series carries with it the pride of the territory it represents. Whether it's the cultural rhythm of Duke Ellington's DC, the island traditions of Guam and American Samoa, or the tropical beauty of Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands, these coins are miniature works of art that reflect the spirit of the United States in every detail. Now, when it comes to grading and condition, remember this: a circulated coin, one that's been used in daily transactions, may only be worth a small premium over its face value. But an uncirculated coin, with no scratches or wear, can command far higher prices, especially if it's been professionally certified. A coin in mint state 67 or 68 is considered superb, nearly flawless to the naked eye. Coins at that level are rare, and collectors compete fiercely for them at auctions and private sales. Over the years, the prices of such coins have continued to climb, as demand increases and supplies dwindle. And that's not even counting the special minting errors or proof strikes, which can fetch astronomical prices depending on rarity. So, what's the bottom line? Why is the 2009 D Mint Mark $quarter coin such a standout among modern U.S. coins? It's because it combines everything that collectors love: low mintage, historical significance, beautiful design, and the thrill of discovery. It's not just a coin, it's a piece of American legacy captured in copper and nickel. Every 2009 D quarter in pristine condition is a reminder that even in modern change, hidden treasures exist. And every time you hold one, you're holding a story of a year when the nation celebrated its territories, honored its diversity, and minted coins that would one day be sought after by collectors around the world. So, before you spend that quarter in your pocket, take one more look. It might just be the key to a small fortune waiting to be discovered. And now, for those who are wondering what one of these rare, pristine 2009 D Mint Mark $quarter coins could be worth today, brace yourself for this number. A single high-grade, collector-quality example of the 2009 D $quarter coin has been known to reach an incredible price of $18,265. Yes, that's right. What started as a simple 25-cent piece could turn into a treasure worth thousands of dollars in the right condition. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of the United States of America 2013 P Mint Mark $quarter coin. You might think that this coin is just an ordinary piece of change, something you've seen countless times in your pocket, in your car's cup holder, or sitting in a coin jar. But what if I told you that one of these 2013 quarter coins could be worth far more than its face value of just 25 cents? Yes, you heard that right. There's a particular 2013 P Mint Mark $quarter coin that shocked collectors with its astonishing market value. Stay tuned, because by the end of this video, you'll find out just how much this coin could be worth and why collectors are paying so much for it. Let's start by exploring the background of the 2013 quarter series. The year 2013 was an important one in the ongoing America the Beautiful Quarters program, which began in 2010. This program was designed by the U.S. Mint to celebrate national parks, forests, and landmarks across all 50 states, 5 U.S. territories, and the District of Columbia. Each year, 5 new designs were introduced, each representing a different national site. In 2013, the 5 quarters released honored some of the most breathtaking and iconic American locations: White Mountain National Forest in New Hampshire, Perry's Victory and International Peace Memorial in Ohio, Great Basin National Park in Nevada, Fort McHenry National Monument and Historic Shrine in Maryland, and Mount Rushmore National Memorial in South Dakota. Now, the P Mint mark on the coin indicates that it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, one of the oldest and most historically significant coin-producing facilities in the United States. The Philadelphia Mint is known for its precision, quality, and massive output, producing hundreds of millions of coins every year. But even with such a large number of coins minted, certain rare varieties and error coins occasionally slip through the cracks, and that's where the real excitement for collectors begins. To the naked eye, a 2013 P Mint Mark quarter might look ordinary. It features the familiar portrait of George Washington on the obverse, the front side, designed by John Flanagan, a design that has graced the U.S. quarter since 1932. Above his head, you'll find the word Liberty, while the motto, "In God We Trust," rests proudly beside his profile. Below the image of Washington's neck, you can see the small letter P, representing the Philadelphia Mint. On the reverse, depending on the specific design, you'll see one of those national landmarks beautifully detailed in relief. Each design tells a story of American pride, nature, and history, making these coins miniature works of art. But let's talk about what makes some of these coins incredibly valuable. Not every 2013 P quarter is worth big money, of course. The key lies in rarity, condition, and unique errors. When a coin is struck improperly, due to a mechanical misalignment, a double die, or an off-center strike, it becomes a rare collectible. Collectors go absolutely wild for such coins because these imperfections make them one-of-a-kind pieces. One of the most sought-after varieties of the 2013 P Mint Mark quarter is the double die error, where certain details of the design, like the lettering or Washington's face, appear slightly doubled. Another type of rare find is a missing clad layer coin, where one of the metal layers that make up the coin's surface is missing, revealing a copper-colored appearance on one side. These kinds of minting errors turn an ordinary 25-cent coin into something that can fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars in the collector market. Condition also plays a huge role in determining a coin's value. Coins that are uncirculated, meaning they've never been used in everyday transactions and still have their original mint luster, are worth significantly more than those that have been worn down by circulation. Professional coin grading services like the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, and the Numismatic Guarantee Company, NGC, assign grades to coins based on their condition, from poor, P1, to perfect mint state, MS70. A 2013 P quarter in average circulated condition might be worth only its face value, but one in pristine mint state condition, especially if it contains an error or has been struck with exceptional sharpness, can command an incredible premium. In fact, coins graded MS67 or higher are considered extremely rare, and their prices skyrocket at auctions. Collectors have reported some astonishing auction results for the 2013 P Mint Mark quarters, especially those from the Mount Rushmore and White Mountain designs. The intricacy of these designs makes it easier to spot striking errors and misalignments, which adds to their collectability. One notable example of a rare 2013 P quarter sold at auction for a stunning price due to a combination of exceptional condition and a striking error that made it unique among thousands. Now, let's take a closer look at each of the 5 2013 designs, because each one carries its own unique story and beauty. First, we have the White Mountain National Forest quarter, representing New Hampshire. The reverse design shows a breathtaking view of Mount Chocorua framed by trees, symbolizing the natural beauty and serenity of America's forests. This coin has a classic and peaceful look that appeals to nature enthusiasts and collectors alike. Next is the Perry's Victory and International Peace Memorial Quarter from Ohio, which depicts the memorial column in honor of Commodore Oliver Hazard Perry's naval victory during the War of 1812. The design also symbolizes peace between nations, making it a coin with both historical and symbolic significance. Then comes the Great Basin National Park quarter from Nevada. This design features the iconic bristlecone pine, one of the oldest living tree species on Earth. The coin beautifully captures the rugged and ancient landscape of the Great Basin, reminding us of nature's endurance. The Fort McHenry quarter, representing Maryland, celebrates the site where Francis Scott Key wrote the Star-Spangled Banner during the War of 1812. The design depicts the fort with a flag flying proudly, symbolizing resilience, patriotism, and American pride. Finally, the Mount Rushmore quarter from South Dakota is perhaps one of the most striking in the 2013 series. It features a unique perspective of the sculptors working on the monument, giving us a behind-the-scenes view of how the colossal masterpiece was created. This coin, in particular, is a favorite among collectors because of its detailed design and the opportunity for minting variations or striking errors to occur, but the story doesn't end there. The 2013 P quarters also come in several finishes and compositions. Besides the standard circulation coins made from a copper-nickel-clad composition, the U.S. Mint also produced special collector's editions, including silver-proof coins. These proof coins are struck using specially polished dies and planchets, giving them a mirror-like finish and stunning detail. If you happen to find a silver version or proof coin in perfect condition, its value could be several times higher than a regular circulation piece. Coin enthusiasts also enjoy collecting complete sets of the America the Beautiful series, and 2013 coins are considered particularly attractive due to their designs and the historical moments they represent. Because each design tells a story of American heritage, collectors often seek out all 5 coins from the year, in both uncirculated and proof versions, adding value to the entire set. Another factor that increases value is low mintage numbers for certain designs or finishes. While the Philadelphia Mint produced millions of coins in 2013, specific varieties or proof versions had smaller runs, making them much rarer in the long run. Over time, as coins disappear into private collections, their availability on the market decreases, and scarcity, as every collector knows, drives up demand and price. That if you happen to come across a 2013 P Mint Mark quarter, it's worth taking a closer look before spending it. Check for unusual features like doubling in the lettering, die cracks, off-center strikes, or missing layers. Even a small imperfection could mean your coin is special. Examine the surfaces carefully under good lighting or with a magnifying glass. If it appears unusually sharp or pristine, it might be worth submitting for professional grading. You never know, that coin sitting in your drawer could turn out to be a hidden treasure. Collectors also emphasize that proper care and storage are vital for maintaining a coin's value. Always handle coins by the edges, avoid touching the surface, and store them in protective holders to prevent scratches or tarnish. A single fingerprint or small nick can significantly reduce a coin's grade, and its market price. What makes the world of coin collecting so fascinating is that treasures can appear in the most unexpected places. Imagine going through your change after buying a coffee and discovering that the quarter in your hand isn't worth just 25 cents but potentially thousands of dollars. That's the thrill that keeps collectors searching and studying every coin that passes through their fingers. So the next time you find one of these coins, take a moment to appreciate the craftsmanship, history, and possibility it carries. Because who knows, you might be holding a small piece of metal that tells a story of American heritage and holds a value far beyond its denomination.